Let's be honest. When I say the words code documentation, what comes to mind? Probably something super technical, right? Maybe a little dry. Something for the developers to worry about. But what if I told you that that boring task was actually the one thing standing between your business's freedom and being completely trapped by your own technology? We're going to dig into why this is one of the smartest things a business leader can possibly understand.
Okay, quick question for you. If your entire software team decided to walk away tomorrow, could a brand new team step in and take over without a hitch? If you even hesitated for a second, you're not alone. But you might be in a way more dangerous spot than you think. And that right there is the silent threat of vendor lock-in.
No, that is not an exaggeration. As it says right on the screen, if the code isn't properly documented, you are, quite literally, trapped. Imagine your company's software is a giant vault holding your most valuable assets. But here's the kicker. The combination is lost. You become completely dependent on the people who built it, and that gives them all the power over your business, your timelines, and your budget.
So how do you get out of that trap? Or better yet, how do you avoid it in the first place? Well, the answer is to demand a blueprint for your software. And this isn't just some techie document. We're talking about a critical business asset that puts control, flexibility, and security right back in your hands.
So what are we really talking about here? In the simplest terms, code documentation is the instruction manual for your software. It's a bunch of clear, easy-to-read notes that explain not just what the code does, but, way more importantly, how and why it does it. It's basically the story of your software written for anyone who needs to understand it down the line. Think about it like this. Would you even dream of building a skyscraper without a detailed architectural blueprint? No way, right? Of course not. That blueprint is absolutely essential for doing maintenance, for adding a new wing, or for a totally different crew to come in and fix a plumbing problem 10 years from now. Your software is exactly the same. It's a hugely valuable asset, and the documentation is the blueprint that protects its value for the long haul. Okay, so we've got this idea of a blueprint, but how does that actually help your business? I mean, what are the real-world bottom-line benefits here? This isn't just a technical nice-to-have. We're talking about a genuine business lifesaver.
The benefits are super clear and direct. First off, faster knowledge transfer. That just means less time and money spent getting new hires up to speed. It means maintenance is more efficient, so bugs get fixed faster and new features get rolled out quicker. It makes integrating with other systems way less of a headache. But honestly, the biggest thing is sustainability. People come and go, but with a solid blueprint in place, your software asset stays strong, adaptable, and ready for whatever comes next.
Now here's something you really need to pay attention to. A lack of documentation isn't always just an innocent mistake. As our source, Eastern Peak, points out, sometimes it's a deliberate strategy. A dishonest vendor might intentionally keep their code a mystery to make you dependent on them. It makes it incredibly difficult and expensive for you to ever switch. So demanding good documentation, that's your best defense against being held hostage.
All right, so we're all on board with needing a blueprint. But what does one actually look like? Just like a real blueprint for a building has different layers, the foundation, the plumbing, the electrical, good software documentation has multiple levels of detail. Let's break them down. You start at the top with the high-level stuff. This is the big picture, the overall architecture. Then you've got external documentation. Think user guides for your customers or API guides for your partners. Next up is internal documentation, which is basically the notes developers leave for other developers to explain tricky parts. And finally, you get down to the low-level comments. These are tiny notes on individual lines of code that just clarify a specific piece of logic. A truly complete blueprint has all 4 layers covered.
Okay, so now you know the different layers. But just having them isn't enough, right? Quality is everything. It's not enough to just have documentation. It has to be useful. So here's what you should expect and absolutely demand from any development partner you work with.
Think of this as your quality checklist. First, is it clear and to the point? Good documentation follows the don't repeat yourself principle. Second, and this is a big one, is it constantly updated? Because let me tell you, outdated documentation is actually worse than no documentation at all. Is it tailored for its audience? And does it give a new person all the info they need to get started? And finally, a really great partner will use automated tools, but they'll always add that human touch for the context that only a person can provide.
So let me just say this. If a vendor ever tells you that skipping documentation is a good way to save a little money up front, be very, very skeptical. As this quote makes clear, it's a short-term saving that almost always leads to huge long-term costs. You will absolutely pay for it later in wasted time, painful bug fixes, and expensive rework. It is the definition of a false economy. And that brings us right back to where we started. After all this, ask yourself one more time, honestly, do you have a proper blueprint for your company's most critical software? Is your business actually protected? Are you just one key person's resignation away from being totally trapped? The answer could really define the future of your business. If you're not sure, the first step is easy. Just ask your team to show you the current documentation. Their answer, or their silence, will tell you everything you need to know.